On the party day, Zion hadn't arrived yet. Then, an awkward and creepy fat senior started flirting with Susie. His cheesy jokes made the whole vibe awkward. Just then, Zion finally entered the party, and the atmosphere suddenly became lively. Girls gathered around him. Everyone wanted to sit with him. Seeing this, that fat senior became even more irritated and started boring conversations with Susie, making the party even more awkward. Zion quietly takes Susie out of the party, and both of them have drinks, but that same senior follows them outside. When he questions the relationship between them, Susie stays confused, and Zion directly says that he's not in a relationship with Susie. She feels like she's not important to Zion. She makes an excuse to go to the washroom, and her best friend consoles her, saying, "Don't feel bad. Let's just go home and chill with the rest of our friends." The party continues at home. Susie had invited Zion as well, and a total of 8 people begin playing Spin the Bottle. The rule of the game is whoever the bottle points at has to play the mouth-to-mouth game with someone. The sound of their fun reaches the neighbors, but when Zion appears, the female neighbor gets impressed by his charm and says nothing. The game ends quickly. Later, when Susie goes outside to take the garbage out, she sees Zion competing with a girl over dumplings. The expression on the girl's face shows that she was disappointed she didn't get a chance to play the game with Zion. When Zion feels Susie's gaze, he immediately comes to her and tells her that the girl made a small wish, so he fulfilled it. Then he asks Susie, "How did you feel? You didn't get to play mouth-to-mouth with me in the game. Did you miss it?" Susie gets a little uncomfortable, but when Zion comes close, she gently stops him. But then, seeing lipstick on his lips, Susie wipes it off herself, and in the next moment, rises on her toes. After that night, Susie keeps waiting for Zion's message. She's about to message him herself, but then hesitates, afraid of looking too desperate. But what she doesn't know is, at that very moment, Zion is at the airport receiving his ex-girlfriend, Xiaoya. Susie is randomly walking around the college campus when she sees Zion and his ex holding hands. When Susie sees Zion with Xiaoya in such a special way, her heart breaks a little. She quietly walks into a convenience store, and there she runs into her junior, Xiaoyan, who has liked her for a while. They have a really good conversation. Xiaoyan gifts her a milk bottle and even asks for her contact. But all of this is being observed by Zion from afar. Xiaoya also notices that Zion's eyes are only on Susie, and for the first time, she feels jealous. At night, Susie receives sweet messages from Xiaoyan, and for the first time, she enjoys being chased by someone. But when she looks at her silent chat screen with Zion, her smile slowly fades. The next day, Xiaoyan brings her fruit and invites her to a movie. Just then, Zion suddenly returns and casually places his hand on Susie's shoulder. When he finds out they're going to a romantic movie, Xiaoyan teasingly says, "Oh, the lead actor is a kiss expert, right?" Susie, angry, takes him to the rooftop, and they have an intense argument about that night. Things get worse, and the two go their separate ways. Xiaoyan overhears everything, but gently tells Susie that it doesn't matter to him, and again invites her to the movie. Susie, wanting to smooth over the awkward situation, happily accepts. After that, they enjoy a sweet couple date. Dinner, escape room, photos, and a movie. When Susie looks at their photos, she feels, yes, this kind of love feels real. On the way home, Xiaoyan shyly hugs her and says, "I'll always take care of you." He leans in to kiss her, but seeing his clumsy move, Susie suddenly remembers Zion's expert style. Xiaoyan feels a bit awkward and leaves. Back at home, Susie starts comparing in her heart Xiaoyan and Zion. To avoid confusion, she deletes all of Zion's contacts. The next day, she meets Xiaoyan at the school festival, but is shocked when she sees that Xiaoyan has a girlfriend, and he's holding her in a very close way. Susie realizes even shy Xiaoyan was secretly a player. This entire scene is also being watched by Zion. Despite being a top-level flirt himself, his possessiveness wakes up. That same night, Xiaoyan calls Susie, but on the other side, he hears only coughing sounds. His concern suddenly becomes real. Susie is about to refuse him, but her phone turns off. Xiaoyan becomes so tense that he reports it to the police. When Susie returns home with medicine, she sees a crowd of police and people outside her house. Confused, she rushes inside and sees Zion staring at her with worry. When he sees that she's safe, Zion finally feels relieved. After the rescue team leaves, he gently checks Susie's forehead. At night, Susie lies on her bed and regrets her rude words. Then the doorbell rings. Zion has come with medicine and tells her, first food, then medicine. There's sincerity in his eyes. Susie's heart begins to melt again. She softly invites him inside and says, Come on, have a bowl of ramen. After dinner, Suzy feels sleepy. Jian carries her in a princess carry to the bed and neatly sets her blanket. Then he sits beside her and tells her a bedtime story. Xiaoyan goes to freshen up, and Suzy finds him unusually handsome. Hearing her compliment, a small smile appears on Xiaoyan's lips. Then he comes back to her, takes her hair tie, and gently ties her hair. In that moment, Suzy feels his soft care and can't hold back her heart anymore. She kisses him herself. And after that passionate kiss, one thing becomes clear in Suzy's heart. Even if they only meet sometimes, it means Suzy and Xiaoyan's relationship slowly started to deepen. Their connection was no longer limited to just nights. Both decided to meet once a week, especially every Saturday. That Saturday, Suzy woke up very early, carefully got ready, and waited for Xiaoyan with a little nervousness. When Xiaoyan came, she saw the table set with full beer bottles. Suzy quickly explained that it was just to set the mood. Xiaoyan understood her tension, but said nothing. Then she took out a handmade butterfly wind chime and hung it beside Suzy's bed. Then she sat down in front of Suzy. Seeing this soft and caring side of her, Suzy became even more deeply attracted to Xiaoyan. She once again felt herself drowning in his love. Slowly, Xiaoyan became a regular part of Suzy's life. Suzy also blended into the habit of spending nights with him. At college, they behaved like strangers. But when no one was around, they would secretly look at each other. At night, they behaved like a perfect home couple, feeding each other dinner and curling up together afterward. Everything was going perfectly. But then, Xiaoyan's ex-girlfriend, Xiaoya, didn't like their frequent connection. A little friction started coming into their relationship. The worst was when Xiaoyan forgot Suzy's birthday. When Suzy called and said, "I'm going home, I won't meet today," Xiaoyan didn't even realize that Suzy was angry. Hurt, Suzy cut the call and sat alone in the bus under the rain. Just then, an old voice called out to her, her childhood friend, Du He. After meeting Du He, Suzy becomes emotional. She finds out that Du He is now a chef and runs a restaurant on a university campus in Seoul. When they arrive at the bus station, Du He invites Suzy to his cafe, and they exchange contact information. Just then, due to a sudden break, Du He's potatoes fall down. Suzy helps him, and the rain gets heavier. Suddenly, an umbrella appears above her. Suzy turns around and sees it's Du He, who had already gotten off the bus just to protect her. He keeps holding the umbrella for Suzy the entire walk, but half of his own body gets drenched. Upon reaching home, Suzy realizes how caring Du He truly is. And from her heart, she says, "I wish I had met you earlier." On her birthday, Suzy is standing alone in the metro when suddenly Xiaoyan appears in front of her. Suzy becomes emotional. They roam around the whole city, and Shan also gives her a sweet gift. When Suzy invites her for dinner, Shan hesitates a little, as if she had some other plans. Still, she comes to Suzy's house and says she'll make seaweed soup for her birthday. While cooking, Xian starts flirting with Suzy again, and Suzy once more can't resist her charm. An intense romantic moment happens between them. But just then, Xian's phone rings. When she answers the call, the name displayed is Xiaoyan. Without any hesitation, Xian gets up from Suzy's arms and takes the call. Xian receives the call and then pretends everything is normal. Suzy understands. Maybe she's going to spend the second half of the night with another girl, but she had no control over it. Half-cooked seaweed soup sat on the table, and Suzy's stomach was genuinely hungry. She went to the supermarket but found nothing appealing. That's when she felt like going to Dewey's cafe. When Dewey saw Suzy, his face lit up like spring had arrived. They shared childhood memories. Dewey brought her a bowl of long-life noodles. Suzy casually asked, "Weren't you going to make noodles?" But in her heart, only Xian was present. I wish it was Xian instead of him. Du He kept smiling and chatting. He remembered that Suzy's favorite flavor was chocolate cake, but he didn't know that he had become just a substitute. Du He lights a candle for her birthday. In the candlelight, Suzy feels she wishes time could just stop here. The next day, Suzy dresses up in the outfit Xian gifted her and goes to meet him. They had promised to meet in the garden behind the school. Suzy reaches early, but Xian comes late with a carefree look, candy in her mouth. When she gets close, Suzy feels a bit awkward and tries to change the topic. A classmate sees their moment, and soon after, rumors about them spread in school.